Hello, everybody. This is Josh from Synchronized Universe. I was going to talk a little bit today about forgiveness. I wasn't able to do the interview like I wanted to do because of conflicting schedules, so instead I decided I was going to talk about forgiveness because it seems to be the, uh, the topic of the week, based on what I'm viewing around me, people I see around me, what the universe is trying to show me. So, I'm here to talk about forgiveness today and what forgiveness means to me and what it what it means for you in reality. So for me, forgiveness has been something that like I've witnessed, like my family, witnessed destroy my family pretty much my entire life. Like, people just unwilling to forgive and holding on to this resentment that just absolutely eats away at them and destroys them. You see it in your family. You see people who won't talk for 20 years because of some minor argument that they had, all for what? Just over just ignorance, our own, like inability to get past our ego and all that neat stuff. So I'm going to share with you a quote from a book series called The Law of One, and it talks about forgiveness. So it says, "In forgiveness lies the stoppage of the wheel of action." And what this means, the wheel of action is karma. So by forgiving the person or event, you are releasing you're releasing that energy, that trauma, that power that it holds over you. And you're going to essentially stop repeating these exact same trauma cycles, because until you release something, you're going to subconsciously not only keep attracting those same situations, you're going to keep repeating these same exact patterns that you've been doing, again, until you release the trauma or whatever it is that you're burying deep down inside of you. And that's essentially what the quote is talking about. The Law of One book series is an absolutely phenomenal look into, an alternate look into how our world works, how our universe works, how the evolution of the soul works. It kind of fills in all the gaps left out by all the major league religions, and it's become one of my absolute favorite things to research because it's just so full of absolute, verifiable information. Like, there's people who have literally written, the one author I follow has written 4 books, based off this stuff, where he goes through the science of it and spends time proving it and going through all the studies done by other countries. Anyway, I digress. So, forgiveness, is something, again, that I've struggled with my whole life based on things that I've seen. And, once you truly start to forgive, you really do, you feel this sense of calm, and, it's a really powerful feeling. And it's important to remember that, if somebody hurts you, you forgiving them doesn't mean what that person did is okay. It just means that you're releasing the power that holds over you. So, for example, if somebody dies by suicide in your family, you not forgiving them is going to hold that. It's that energy is going to be held over your head forever until you deal with it. Like they say that time heals, but time does not heal. You just learn to live with the pain. You bury it, you cover it with alcohol, you cover it with drugs, you do anything and everything you can to cover that pain, but you do not get rid of it just because you don't think about it anymore. It's still there, it's buried. At that point, it becomes buried in your subconscious, and your actions, and you don't even realize you're acting on it. You're not even realizing you're seeking out these events and different situations to act out that trauma. I was going to share with you another technique about forgiveness and about getting rid of unwanted trauma and all that. It's called the Ho'oponopono technique. It's actually a Hawaiian spiritual technique. I apologize if I pronounced that incredibly wrong, but essentially it's really simple. You think about whatever it is that you want to heal, and you chant a mantra, It's, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. So this works for trying to heal the trauma that you have with other people, or it works about the trauma you have inside yourself. Like, I practice this every single night, and I've had phenomenal results from it. Like, right before I go to bed, you get yourself into a sleepy, drowsy state, you think about whatever it is that you want to be free from, and you repeat that as many times as it takes every single night until you feel a calming sensation. You'll know when like the trauma is healed, because it's just a feeling. You'll understand. It's something you have to experience to feel to understand what it means. So essentially, there's a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, where he says that one good way of knowing that you've healed from something is, well, like when you think about it, if you get like a sizzle, he calls it sizzle. Like, you know, when you think of something and it makes you super mad, like that means that that's something that you haven't healed from. Like, you think about that, say, you know, you were cheated on in the past, and if you think about that situation, think about the action, and it still hurts you, you get the sizzling, the anger, that means you're not healed from it. Just because it's been 10 years doesn't mean doesn't mean that time's going to heal that. You actually have to put forth the work. And the problem is that, like, in today's society, where we literally have endless means of escapism, endless means of not dealing with what's in front of you, because, hey, I can go get drunk every night, or I can go hit this joint, or I can go, hit harder drugs, or I can go, fuck away their pain. Excuse my language. Should have said that. Sexual addiction's another one. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse there. That's not my goal here. Just kind of slipped out. Anyway, I digress yet again. But yeah, so forgiveness is it's something that is so downplayed in our society, and it needs to be something that's put on the forefront. You need to heal all these generational issues you have in your family, breaking generational curses. That's the goal of my generation. That's going to be my goal, is breaking all the generational curses that I have been stuck with. Like, we tend to carry all this stuff from your grandparents, your parents, to you. You've literally been handed down a bowl of crap and expected just to live a functional, happy life, when you have all of this buried deep down in your subconscious that you've witnessed from when you were a kid, to a teenager, all the terrible things that have happened to you. And it may not be your fault, but as an adult, it is 100% your responsibility to heal your trauma. It's 100% responsibility to to heal your past, to stop doing all these negative things that are absolutely destroying you. And, the only way to do it is to go inward. That's why the ancient Egyptian proverb says, know thyself. The most important thing you can do is know yourself. And by knowing yourself, you go deep down inside and you heal yourself. So that's my current goal. And, I don't always succeed. I don't always get it done the way I would like to do it. But, I try every night. I try to take at least one step towards healing. And that's what I've been doing the last several years. It's like, I can look back, 5 years ago, and I honestly don't recognize myself from 5 years ago because of how much, work I've been trying to do in the spiritual areas, in the mental areas. The only thing I've been lacking is my physical areas. But I mean, you got to do all three. We are literally a mind, body, and spirit complex. Don't care what anybody says. We have three sides. We're a mind, we're a body, and we're a spirit. And you have to work on each one of those areas to be whole. And oftentimes we neglect all that stuff. Anyway, some books that you should check out. Like, for one, the Law of One series. Like, maybe a lot of people are not ready for that one yet. You have to have a pretty open mind, but so it's a book series that was done by a group called LL Research, and it's done through channeling, which is essentially going into a trance state and contacting otherworldly beings, be it, on the spiritual dimension, etc. A lot of people, that's for a lot of people, when they hear that, they immediately are turned off. But in reality, the Bible and all of that were written by people who were doing much the same thing. They were channeling beings from the other side. They were channeling these angels. They were channeling, I forgot what the word, like divination and all that neat stuff. But that's what they mean by they were contacted. But again, a lot of people will look at this information and just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to blow that off. It's funny. But there's literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of texts out there, that where people have done studies, and there's just no way it's fake. It's just because it's not presented in our mainstream five senses view of science doesn't mean that it's false, or doesn't make it pseudo fake science. You know what I mean? But the world we live in is, you got to have 5 sense proof of everything. But just for an example, the astral projection. Let's just give a random example. There's thousands of documented cases of astral projection where people are able to leave their body and appear before somebody else, or go read the contents of sealed envelopes, or read the contents of a sealed safe. Just if even one of those is true, it violates all known laws of physics. It's important to remember. If even one of these cases is true, it violates all known laws of physics. Nikola Tesla said before his death that once science starts to investigate the non-physical phenomena, we will make more progress in 10 years than we have in the entire history of science. Because he understood that there is way more than just our physical reality. There is way more going on than what we can see and, do, and beyond our 5 senses. That's what's important. The world will tell you, atheists will tell you that there's nothing more, and this is we're just a random occurrence, the product of evolution, and no one can tell you why we can't find the missing link, because they're not going to find the missing link. Human evolution is absolutely way more complicated than we could ever be led to believe. The more you research into ancient civilizations and the ancient world, the more you realize we don't know anything. We can only piece together, we can only, get an overview, but you can't really get the full story. There is no clear-cut story. And that's tough for most people. Most people want, a clear-cut story. Yes, we evolved from apes, etc., but that's just not likely. And then, we have all the different religious views and all the different creation views. It's just, all it is just a different interpretation. Anyway, back to forgiveness. So, as I said, I've had pretty good luck with practicing forgiveness techniques, like forgiving myself. One of the hardest things you can ever do is forgive yourself, and it's something you got to start with. You got to start forgiving yourself. You got to start forgiving your parents. You got to start forgiving all these people who weren't there for you, because harboring emotions can actually lead to disease. And there's a movie called Emotion, and it's put on by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a renowned neuroscientist, and he hypothesizes that a lot of ailments that are caused on the human body are actually caused by trapped emotions, because we are a physical body, but we also down to the microscopic level, at the atomic level, we are energy in motion. That's what we really are. At the atomic level, everything is energy. And your thoughts and your words, they're as real on the mental plane as your hand is. So when you have these, powerful emotions that you bury down deep inside of you, they can actually become, like they suggest that a lot of anger becomes cancer. So if you notice, there's been studies done on this as well, that a lot of cancer patients, besides the different types of cancer you can get for other things, but we're talking about the basic different types of cancer. So they found that a lot of these people have been, have harbored resentment, have harbored anger, are just bitter people, and then they end up getting cancer. You can call it a coincidence, but a lot of the studies are pointing, that we give this to ourselves. And cancer itself, to digress on a different topic, is really an industry. We're using these horrifying methods to cure it or, treat it, when, I firmly believe they've had the cure forever. They just don't want to do it don't want to release it because, honestly, cancer gives them too much money. There's no money in curing cancer. Cancer is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. And it is absolutely an industry. That's one thing you'll learn about the medical system in the United States is it tends to favor curing symptoms. It's not about curing diseases. And you'll learn it in other countries, they are focused on curing the disease. If you go to the doctor, they're going to give you something to treat the symptoms you have. They're not going to be like, yes, you need to do diet, you need to do exercise, you need to do these things in order to not get it. They don't care about that. They just want you to they're just legal drug dealers, in a sense. Again, kind of got off on a tangent here, running low on time. So anyway, if there's one thing you want to practice, it's the Ho'oponopono technique. That's the I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. It's a powerful technique. And also, the thing about laying down at night, and the reason behind that is because you want to get in a sleepy, drowsy state, so that way your conscious mind is suspended, and you want to speak directly to your subconscious mind. I'm going to go into that one deeply on probably my next episode when I talk more about the subconscious mind, because it's very, very important, and it's right around the idea of the whole law of attraction thing. That's where the law of attraction comes from, is the subconscious mind. There's a lot more to the subconscious mind than anybody could ever have imagined. Dr. Sigmund Freud talks a lot about it. There's many, many other famous doctors that have done thousands of experiments with the subconscious mind. They found that, Emerson that said there's one mind common to all men. So we have your individual mind, but then there is the subconscious part of your mind is linked with everybody and everyone. And again, I'm about out of time here. So again, I leave you with peace and love, and hope to talk to you soon. This is Josh again, the Synchronized Universe.